2 parents, 6 kids, 1 dog, a camper named Ruby, and a car named The Beast. Distance learning across the USA and interviewing interesting people we meet along the way. This is the Ruby Road Stage Tour Podcast.
Hi, everybody. This is Carmen Ventrucci. Welcome to this episode of the Ruby Road Stage Tour. I am here in sunny Oceanside, California with my dear friend, Cesar R. Espino. Cesar drove down from LA to visit us. We are at our campsite. There's California sunshine, good wine, good friends, and there's kids just running all around, and we are having a great time. So Cesar is like a jack of all trades. He is an accomplished real estate investor, 2-time or 3-time international best-selling author.
So far 2, and we're going to go for 3 in March.
Yes, a 3-time international best-selling author. He is a mindset guru. He knows business like the back of his hand. He does it all. So Cesar, I am so excited you're here on the show today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Carmen, for having me. I'm excited to be here, having a good morning, enjoying this. Really, it comes down to one of the things that I've talked about in the past is that sometimes you find your extended family within a lot of that networking and events, and that's how I find you. And it's like, it's just amazing. So I'm glad to be here today.
Have you ever had that friend where you've only known them a short amount of time, yet it seems like you've known them forever? That's Cesar. We've only known each other for 2 years. I feel like he's been around since I was 10 years old. That's just the kind of friendship we have. And Drew loves him. My husband loves him. The kids love him. He's a great guy. So Cesar, the stage is yours.
All right.
What should we talk about today?
Well, there's a lot of different things. And I think I want to talk about one thing that you put up on the next. So talking about being a book author, right? Your last book, in your chapter, the name of the chapter, you're like, it was certainty
and surrender.
And I want to talk about that because I think that's actually, you know what, when I was reading your chapter, it just reminded me to really be certain and surrender to the process, right?
Yes.
So I want to talk about that because I think even right now with this different times and what we're going through, a lot of times we got to be remembered of those things. We got to be reminded of those things.
Yes, we do. Okay, so tell me, what does certainty and surrender mean to you?
So to me, let's talk about first certainty, right? And is really being assertive, being that you know what you're going after. Like don't have any doubt, right? Don't have anything that is gonna be questioning yourself or second guessing whether or not what you're doing or you're trying to do is going to really accomplish that. Just be certain of the outcome, whatever that outcome might be, or whatever you're looking for, right? So the first thing is being certain in that aspect, understanding that whatever you're trying to accomplish or whatever you're trying to do, you are 100% optimistic, you have faith, you trust the process, and you're just certain that it's going to work out in every aspect. And even through that, though, although that seems to be good, you can have all these ins and outs. It's like a roller coaster. And I know that for a fact, right? At the end of the day, though, what is my end intention or what is the end in mind? And just be certain of that. The surrender part of it is, I always tell people, is not about surrender in the sense of you're giving up or in a negative connotation, is more surrender to the process.
So, okay, let me play devil's advocate for a minute. Because when people hear the word surrender, they think of waving the white flag. They've been beaten, they've been defeated, and they are a loser.
Yeah.
I know a lot of our listeners right now might be having that mental image when they hear the word surrender. And I talk about this in my book. And I know, I'm pretty sure you're aligned with me on this. That's not at all what it is.
No, it's not. No, and again, you got to look at it from the perspective of you're surrendering to understand. It's like stepping back and understanding what is in front of you and understanding the aspect of that, right? Like really is not to give up, is to actually analyze and look at it from that perspective of, well, what do I have? What is being dealt to me and how am I going to deal with that, right? And so it's more of realizing the current situation and how you're going to react to that, right? So it was funny because I remember when I came to the States, so I'm from Mexico City, you can tell by my accent. When I came here at the age of 10, I think that was probably the first time, now that I look back, it was probably the first time that I can really relate to how I surrender, right? I remember being 10, 11 years old, and who I see as my dad now, who's my stepdad, but I see as my dad, I was really upset. I was very angry, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to go back to Mexico. I didn't want to be here. I didn't understand the language. I couldn't speak it. I have no friends. I didn't have any of that. Like, it was foreign to me, big time, right? And so my point to all of that is that I was trying to be I was uncomfortable being here, so I wanted to go. I wanted to go back to Mexico, being poor, where you're comfortable. So I wanted to go
You
back
wanted
to
to
what,
stay in your comfort zone.
in my comfort zone because I
Yes.
was uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Then I realized, you know what? What about if I just surrender?
Mhm.
Okay, and again, not surrender to give up, surrender to accept the fact that, you know what, at the end of the day, this is a new chapter, this is a new beginning, a new opportunity. How about if I surrender to that process, and now really embrace it and learn from that? And so I did. I surrendered to the process. I surrendered to, like, you know what, I'm going to be in a new place, new country, new friends.
Mhm.
I got to learn all of those things, and how can I adjust to be
Mhm.
part of that, right? And so that's one of
Mhm.
the things that I can think of for me in my own personal life, when I actually surrender not to give up,
Mhm.
surrender to actually succeed.
Wonderful. And you know, my family, my husband and I took our family on this trip, the Ruby Road. We're distance learning for 9 months across the country in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a pandemic, and we surrendered to the fact that, look, COVID is out there. There's a lot of things we have zero control over with
Mhm.
COVID.
Yeah.
What we do have control over is how we respond to it.
Right.
And we chose to respond with this opportunity to give our kids this cross country RV trip, see our great friends like Cesar, and all this good has come out of it. We are closer as a family.
Mm.
Like, yeah, we still have our little tiffs
And everyone's gonna have that.
and yeah, and that's expected. Yet we part of surrendering is knowing what you can control and then choosing how you can respond.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember when you guys were barely embarking on this
Mhm.
idea. This was not like at least it didn't feel like
Mhm.
that. It didn't feel like it was like a 5, 6, 7, 8 month planning. This was like overnight, kind of, let's
This
do
was like,
this.
let's do it.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
And that's one thing that I like too, because it kind of goes back to just being certain.
Mhm.
You're certain on what you wanted to do, and just surrender to whatever is going to happen. I always tell people is that the decisions and choices that you make today will determine the quality of life that you have tomorrow.
Yes.
So that decision you made and that choice determine this quality that you have right now. And we're just talking about this offline, is that you're not creating kind of like a legacy, or even a tradition for your family, for your kids, that once you're gone, they're gonna remember this 9 months and like, you know what, I love that, I enjoy that, I want to do that for myself now, because that's what my parents did for me. So you're creating that. So again, sometimes we're so afraid of those choices and those decisions. What if you just be certain that it's gonna be okay, and why don't you just surrender to the process and say, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that exact thing. Drew and I will be long gone. The 6 kids will be sitting around a campfire somewhere and be like, oh, remember that time where we went out and toured the US and we all lived in a camper, and how the heck did we do that? And like, they're gonna have so many fun memories. And thinking back to, you know, my childhood, we didn't do this, but when my sisters and I get together, we have those fun memories too.
Right. Yeah.
And it's creating memories. It's so special because we surrendered. And here's the other key part. This is why certainty and surrender go together so well.
I love that. Yeah.
We surrendered to the fact that we can't control everything. Like, we might get a flat tire. We might get 3 months into this and hate it, right? We didn't know what was going to happen. And we were okay with that. We were certain we could figure it out. Because you know what? We are intelligent and we are smart and we are problem solvers, and so are you.
Yeah.
And so you can figure out so much more than what we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
You know, with that, it comes one thing that comes to mind is that, you know, you got to give yourself more credit than what you think. And even being a mind coach and you know, also doing the NLP, is like, sometimes why don't you just sit back and ask yourself, what would I do if I'm in this particular situation? And you'd be amazed of the answers or the things that are going to be popping in your head, where you can actually figure that out. Like, we are human beings that have so much potential, yet we're not using that capacity to the way we should be using that capacity, right? And I like the idea of, what is the end in mind? Having that end in mind is like, yeah, you're gonna have all these bumps and roller coasters. Stick with that because you're certain about that.
Yeah, and so be certain that you're gonna have to pivot. I mean, whether you're talking like business plans, whether you're talking like planning an event, I mean, no matter what you're thinking about, you're gonna have to pivot, and that's okay. It's a plan. Therefore, by definition, it's inaccurate.
Yeah, right. And that's what I like about the whole idea of certainty and surrenders, because it's not just for business. It's actually for personal life. It's for anything you want. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, you want to lose weight, well, be certain that you want to be at this particular body type, right? And what do you have to do with that? And you got to surrender on giving up hamburgers and fries and whatever the case may be, right? But it applies to anything that you do.
Right. So true.
So that's why I love that idea. Yeah.
Okay, so you gave one example of how you had to surrender, when you moved to the US from Mexico City. When else have you had to combine the certainty and the surrender?
I think that maybe one other instance was when I decided to take my leap of faith of becoming a full-time entrepreneur, leaving my corporate job in the last year. Leaving my corporate job, like that was scary. Like it took me 7 months to really overcome that, right? Like I remember when the day that I was supposed to do it, I went into the office and I didn't do it. Like at that time, I was dating somebody, and she's like, "Did you do it?" I'm like, "I didn't do it. I was afraid. I was afraid of quote unquote, leaving that secure job." And I was thinking like, well, if I end up losing this income, right? What am I gonna do? I'm questioning myself now. I'm having all these negative thoughts. It literally took me 7 months to where I said, you know what, I have to do it. I'm already working on my real estate. That was the only thing that I was doing back then. I'm working on my real estate. I'm not saying I was doing really good, except I wasn't doing bad. I was learning. It's a learning process. And I'm like, you know what if I'm certain that I'm gonna be a good real estate investor and let this go, because this, to an extent, although it has served me to this point, is not gonna serve me any longer, and I need to be able to move away from that. And so it was being certain that that's what I wanted, and I think that was the big differentiator for me from the first time to the second time. That I was certain the second time that this is what I wanted. The first time I thought I wanted it, and I didn't have that confidence, and therefore I didn't do it.
Okay. Gotcha. So what made you certain? How did you get from point A to point B of I think this is what I want to this is what I want?
Yeah, for me, I think it was more of I think one of our coaches talks about this, and what is your highest intention? What is it that you're trying to do in your life, right? And for me, it was that. It was the fact that I looked deeper into what do I want to do, what do I want to accomplish, where do I want to be, like what do I want to show up to people as, and although I was doing good in corporate America, making good money, having all this good stuff, I didn't feel fulfilled.
Right.
So a lot of people talk about it. Well, what is your why? What is your purpose? If you haven't read the book of Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi, he talks about the 7 whys, and you go 7 levels deep on your why and understanding what is your purpose, right? And so part of that is like I came to realize that I wanted more out of my life. Coming from a humble beginning, not having anything as a kid, is like I want to be able to do more so that I can give back, to those that don't have the means now. And so for me, it was that certainty of what I wanted to do in terms of being able to have the ability to help others, at the same time help myself. And I knew that I couldn't do it in corporate America. I needed to do something different. So is that saying like if you expect something different, you got to do something different than you're not doing at this current moment?
Yeah, if you're getting results you don't like, change it up, try something different. I had that exact same discussion with a client the other day, actually. Let's just be crazy and let's try something. Actually, one of my coaches had that same discussion with me the other day on, hey, this isn't working. Let's do something different. And I was like, you're right. Let's do it. So good points.
So that was part of it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like, it's just being in tune with what you really want and really understanding that and just going after it. It's like taking that leap of faith, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to jump. And a few things are going to happen when you jump. Number one, you're going to jump and you're going to fall down. You're going to get bruises on your way down. You're going to jump and you're going to be just flying your life away. You're going to jump and, something else is going to happen. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get up and you're still going to do it, just jump, and that's the challenges that people are so afraid of jumping is like, if you're still, by the way, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, guess what? I always say this, right? Whether you believe in God or the universe, it is not done with you. There's so much for you to give. You have so much to give. And so the fact that you're watching this and you're listening to us, you have so much to give and offer. So why not take that opportunity? Because your day is not done.
I love it. Cesar, this was a very intriguing episode of the Ruby Road Stage Tour. Truly appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you in my life and our family's life. All right. So people are going to want to find you and get more of you. Where can they find you?
Come to LA.
Come to okay. if they can't come to LA, is there a way we could use social media or the internet to find you?
You know what? Nowadays you could. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can definitely just go to my website, www.cesarrespino.com. Or I found out you can just Google my name and I'm gonna pop all over the place.
Oh, you're that important now?
I guess.
Nice.
So yeah, so you can find me there.
Wonderful. Cesar, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. And
Yes.
thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Ruby Road Stage Tour. Tune in for our next episode where we're going to interview other people we meet along the way as we distance learn across the USA in a camper with 6 kids. This is Carmen Ventrucci. Thanks for listening.
And realize that at the end of the day, FaceTime.
FaceTime. My daughter's friend is FaceTiming us, and we're gonna totally edit this out later.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna put this on Do Not Disturb. This is going in the outtakes. Are we still recording?
I have no clue, but I'll take a sip.
Take a sip. We are still recording. Outtake material.
Yes.
Guys, friendly reminder. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb before you start recording podcast interviews.
But that's the beauty, though. At the end of the day, this is like it's all real life. We're not.
Is it an emergency? No. We're just dealing with what emerges.
You have an emergency here.
You have an
Oh.
emergency?
Another tooth.
What?
Oh.
You lost another tooth? Come show the audience.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, where is it? This is Lily. She just lost another tooth. Awesome. Our
And
tooth
then
fairy's
go.
name is Steve.
And then show in your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, show him your hand. There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. We're keeping it real.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Ruby Road. Make sure to click that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, leave us a huge thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, be part of our adventure.